today we are marking the Global Encryption Day, which has been a very crucial thing as we are in a world of increasing cyber threats.
Encryption is like when you have a padlock and key and you're locking your room.
What else comes to mind when you talk about encryption? Now tell it is safety.
When you talk about data, the formats are so many. You have pictures, you have music. So if you touch anyone's information,
Every time you sign up for an account on a digital service, you're actually consenting to whatever terms and conditions.
most of the tech companies are weaponizing consent.
Yeah.
The level at which you encrypt also depends on how much you have to lose with what you are protecting.
Especially if you are an innovator, especially if you're a business or you're a founder, it is going to be imperative that in anything you touch, technology, there is a basic level of encryption. Is it relevant? Because I can't be there and I'm looking for supper and you start telling me encryption.
How can you tell if an e-service has strong encryption?
Huh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the ICT podcast. I am your host, Winfred Nankanja. Welcome to the podcast, Bob and Cliff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, so let's get right into it. What is encryption and why is it so important in the evolving world of e-services?
What is encryption? Maybe if I can put it, I think encryption has existed for a very long time. Just we haven't really defined it as encryption. And let me take it away from home a little bit. I feel like encryption is like when you have a padlock and key and you're locking your room. So when you're leaving your house, you need that padlock consistently to lock your things in the room. So I think about encryption as that process that you use to ensure that no one can be able to read your data. It's kind of like a secret code that you use. That is how I see it. And that means for me that encryption is embedded in almost everything we do. Even when you're talking to your girlfriends, you're going to have a secret code. You will talk, everyone will listen, but they will not understand. And ideally, at the most basic, that is encryption. For me, I could talk about it the whole day, what encryption is and how it is being applied all around. But for me, that's what I think it is. Yes.
That's a nice one.
Well, I think, Bob, you've given the perfect description and explanation because we use doors almost every now and then. The door to your car, the door to your bedroom, the door to yourself in the bank. So I believe that encryption is one of those things that we deal with it almost every single day, if I would say. And if you ask me what else comes to mind when you talk about encryption, I'll tell it is safety. Because when I have very sensitive documents or money in my house and I leave the house open, I don't feel safe. Or if I lose my keys and I misplace them, I will feel so uneasy. It's just like these days when you lose your phone, you feel so uneasy because most times your phone literally has
everything.
Like using the passcode to your phone.
Exactly. It has logins to your bank. It has personal things like photos and all that.
Okay, that's great. So with the rise in cyber threats, like what is a non-negotiable for e-services providers, when it comes to encryption?
I think what is non-negotiable is the fact that e-service providers have an obligation to protect the assets of the people using the e-services, personal data, how often I use the different services, and also the users themselves have the obligation to make sure they don't leave their credentials lying around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. But would you like to add something onto that?
For me, I think a non-negotiable, especially when you talking about e-commerce. But I would like us to maybe make it wider, not just e-commerce. It would go maybe to anyone who touches data. And you may think data is so ubiquitous today that when you talk about data, the formats are so many. You have pictures, you have music, so if you touch anyone's information from an e-commerce perspective, from a technology business perspective, compliance is a non-negotiable. There are international standards
That's right.
that you should use
Yes.
to ensure that if I am dealing, let's say, in digital imagery, how am I ensuring that this data that I'm holding is protected, or when it is in transit is protected?
Yes.
That's
So for me, I feel like on the whole, and there are levels of compliance. You don't have to comply at all, but where does it apply to you? And I think compliance is a very, very big non-negotiable.
Yeah.
If I was to do a business a business of information and information sharing and processing, yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So now let's talk about the responsibility of, providers. So for an entity providing a digital service, what's the ethical and legal imperative to use the strongest encryption available for the user's data?
Now let me tell you, what is the legal?
The ethical and legal.
So let me tell you something. If everyone knew that Bob goes and buys his watches from London, the Rolex shop, and that information was to become public, and I am, let's say, the legal officer in Stanbic Bank, everyone would be like, but Bob makes 500,000 every month. How is he affording 20,000? You get? So I think the ethical aspect of it is trust. To know that if I share my data with you, or whoever shares data with me, can trust that that data is not going to be seen by anyone but me. But also when I'm transmitting that data to them, or when I have their information and I am maybe transacting with that information between you, my client, and myself, or a third party, your identity is protected. And I think that is the biggest ethical question in data, and how encryption comes to play a very, very, very big part. It really, really helps in us, the clients, us, the consumers, knowing that our privacy, our information cannot be read, cannot be stolen by anyone. Now, the legal imperative. Of course, within the regulatory landscape, we have people who are waiting for us to either create financial loss, because certain information, information is very important, and it's being transmitted every microsecond, every milliseconds. How much data is transferred? A lot of data is transferred every millisecond. So if that data was to be read as it's being transferred, so much would be found out. How rich people are, how perverted they are, how unprofessional they are. So from a regulatory and from a legal perspective, it really protects us from, first of all, being sued because we are keeping the data. But also from a regulator perspective, it enables us to be in compliance with our regulators. For example, we have the Data Protection Act. We have the Electronic Communications Act.
And the computer misuse.
We have a Computer Misuse Act. All of those touch on encryption somehow. So if I'm dealing with someone's data and I kind of get it into the public domain without their consent, it will attract not just the government coming after me, but it will also attract to me as a business fines, and people also will not trust me. So yeah, for me, that's in a nutshell. In a nutshell.
Bob, there's something you mentioned, and that's consent.
Yes.
Consent is really something that is very huge.
Yes.
And every time you sign up for an account on a digital service, you're actually consenting to whatever terms and conditions that accrue to that service. Now, it's important that the digital service providers educate well enough what exactly is entailed in the terms and conditions.
Because they're usually so long.
Yes. And unfortunately, not everyone is a lawyer. And yet, the terms and conditions are legal. It's a legal document. It's binding as well. And I feel like one gap is that they are not broken down into sizable chunks for the users to understand. Yeah. And also it's an opportunity for the digital service providers to be able to explain, to be able to give full information about what is entailed. For example, give just a few use cases. For example, what would happen if you violate A, B, C, and D? What would happen if for example, you someone else who's not you logs into your account? Is it your responsibility? Is it your liability, or is it my liability?
Yes.
And in most cases, when it comes to digital platforms, you'd find that the biggest loophole is actually the human element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Most of us don't use two-factor authentication. One, we feel like it's too long or complex, and we feel like it's too technical, and yet it's not. And because of that, if for example, Bob, I have a password to your phone,
I'll be finished.
You'll be finished. Yeah.
Yes. I want to touch on consent. You talked about, and it has been a very long battle. Facebook has been taken so many times in front of the Senate, in front of Congress. I think it's the Senate councils or Congress, whichever it is. And they have the battle of consent. Where do you draw the line between he signed the document, so I cannot be held liable?
Yeah.
You get? So that's the thin line between, and that's where the conversation becomes very nuanced in what are the ethics around people's data.
Sure.
And how far are you willing to go into protecting it? You get? From an ethical standpoint, the company that is holding the data and protecting it will decide how far they are willing to go to keep it safe. But then the question begs, how much are they going to invest?
Sure.
You get? So you find in their solutions, they are going to put those terms and conditions.
Yes.
Then they say, we are not legally liable in case we are going to be selling your data to a third party. And it is embedded there. And Facebook, like, for example, most organizations, when you're trying to unsubscribe, they'll ask you, are you really sure?
Sure, yes.
Yes. Then
There are like 3 steps involved before you actually subscribe.
Steps involved to unsubscribe. And encryption is going that same direction, I feel. Because now even companies are trying to run away from, if your data is compromised, it can only be we can only be liable for your data being compromised on our systems.
Oh.
We cannot be liable for data being compromised out in the ether. And I feel like that thin line between the ethic, how much are they willing to invest to ethically protect your data, and the legal frameworks to be able to hold them accountable. That conversation is a little bit, and I think it's a deliberate conversation around consent, because they're using consent and most of the tech companies are weaponizing consent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, so now I want to talk about startups, because we have a lot of startups upcoming and those already. Does implementing the strong encryption have to be expensive or complex to them, because they are holding a lot of data for people?
My precise answer is no. Yeah. Let me first take it down to the basic non-technical level. Padlocks are not expensive. Yeah.
Yes. True.
But it also depends on what you are protecting. Yeah. There's very small padlocks. There are very huge padlocks. There are padlocks that are biometric. So the level at which you encrypt also depends on how much you have to lose with what you are protecting.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also, what is the value of whatever you're protecting? Yeah. Now, if data, whenever we go online, we leave a lot of, information, data that can be used for other
Purposes, like
purposes.
metadata,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yes.
And sometimes we don't even consent. For example, if you log into a browser and search, and a cookie picks up your
search term,
your history, you have not
location.
consented by signing a form, but by using the browser you consent that
They can take your data.
yes, that's why it gives you a prompt, accept or decline. Yeah,
You don't have decline, by the way.
Accept or decline cookies. But they don't give you an option.
Yeah,
They don't give you an option to reject.
Yeah,
They
some
will say
don't.
accept all cookies
essential ones.
or essential ones. And you're like,
What if I don't?
what are they? What are they? Please break them down for me.
Yeah, so coming down to startups, I would suggest that startups put in measures to protect. They have in a technical way, it's a fiduciary duty. If I give you my phone to keep it for me, it is your duty to keep it safe. Yeah, especially if I'm paying you for that. So if it's compromised on your side, you have the duty to compensate me. So for startups not to go into that situation where they have to compensate a lot of money
Yes, which they
for
don't have.
their clients, it's important to actually put into measures the encryption tools to the best that they can get. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Me, I feel like technology has really evolved today. The conversation of if I should encrypt is no longer valid in the world we live today, especially if you are an innovator, especially if you're a business or you're a founder. It is going to be imperative that in anything you touch, technology, there is a basic level of encryption.
True.
Now, I like the question, what is the maximum amount of encryption? Really, I'm not going to get a tier 3 data center level encryption and I buy like, what do you call it? A 1024 bit encryption key with multiple 0-day what at $500,000 per what? Per year. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a founder, I'm what? And it goes back to what he said. It has to be relevant to the scope of work you're doing and understand the sensitivity of the data you hold. One way for the founders and for most startups and for most organizations, actually, because it's not just startups that are that may have a challenge with this, but also organizations. Look at your regulator and ask yourself, what does your regulator say? In some spaces, your regulators do not even allow your data to leave your premises.
Yeah.
You come, you sign a document. I remember in the banking sector about 10, 15 years ago, you could not open a bank account remotely. You had to go to the what?
Banking hall physically.
Banking hall, sign. But now security in our IT systems has significantly improved. APIs have come along. You get it. Encryption at data at rest has come, and it's so ubiquitous that it is even free. On some, I think Apache has some technologies really have free and really good encryption. So just look at your regulator, see what they say,
Yeah.
and see how well you can do it. For me, I wouldn't want to push them to say that go and pick the best, because the best can be enterprise grade encryption is, I mean, you don't have any military assets you're protecting. You do not have any military or national security assets you're protecting. So why would you be getting military grade encryption for
Yeah.
to what? To confirm payment. You get. And also understanding your data is very important in how you're going to choose how you're going to encrypt it. Maybe TLS is just enough.
Yeah.
You get. Maybe using HTTPS and basic encryption is enough. Then you find out how to protect your data. Another thing is that most cloud service providers, encryption of data within their infrastructure comes with a service subscription. And I know most startups are using cloud solutions. So automatically you come with the best encryption. So in my view, look internally. What are you doing to protect data in terms of operations? What people are doing daily. You get, what are you doing daily to protect data? And it will take me to an international standard, 27001. That is one standard. If you just went and read, anyone can go and look it up and try to see what they can put in place. At basic, they don't even need to certify. They don't need to be audited, but just read through it. And then the organization and cultural practices internally within the startups, there can be a mind shift on how sensitive data is, and they learn to protect it. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to also point on digital literacy. So how can users know that an e-service provider is using strong encryption? I've talked about Apache, I've talked about something. So that's having the Apache make me as a user feel like, okay, yeah, now I can trust this service.
I think
Yeah, what can you tell us that we can look into to know that, okay, I know my data is safe?
I think the most evident is I'll answer this by giving you an analogy through asking a question. How do you know a door is locked?
With a padlock.
You see a padlock. So whenever you're accessing those different services, as long as, for me, as long as I do not see a padlock, I will know this is not secure. I'm not even going to bother to open any links because I don't know what is going to happen afterwards. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the most evident, even non-technical way to know is by seeing a padlock sign. If you don't see a padlock sign on that browser, on that website, please run for your life.
Yes. Using HTTPS, ensuring that right now the international standard, when we started with the internet, we had HTTP without the S. That means data was being sent but not encrypted. That means at source it was not being converted. It was not being randomized. It was not being hidden. It wasn't being put on a padlock. You get, so it was just being transported on the internet, and as long as you get all the packets coming from Bob's network out to the internet, you could arrange them and understand. You get?
Yeah.
If you knew the network layer, how it worked, you would go to the physical layer and get all the, and understand how the network is communicating, rearrange the packets and get. But now we have HTTPS. You get? And we have even newer encryption types for browsing. We have even VPNs. You get?
Yeah.
And VPNs are the best and one of the most secure way of ensuring your data is secure and no one is sniffing, no one is reading them. But that HTTPS has really revolutionized the way we use. Yes. But you asked a question on what? On how can we?
How can you tell if an e-service has strong encryption?
There's the HTTPS level whereby you go to the web browser, and if it is HTTP, know that whatever you're going to do on that website is not safe. But there's another level of security of encryption whereby that service you're consuming is providing extra encryption.
That involves sometimes human interaction.
Sometimes human interaction. Another layer of encryption is, these days we have very many bots. You get?
Yeah.
So they have embedded in our websites.
Can I give you an example?
Yes.
Yesterday, I was doing online banking. I was using APSA, and I did something because I was trying to look at my banking history because I wanted to see if the money I deposited for this service I was using was actually being reflected. So I took some screenshots, I went backwards, went forwards, and then they shut me out.
Yes.
They shut me out and they had to verify if I was indeed a human.
Yes.
So they required me to log in again. And when I logged in, they put me back on the exact page
That you are on.
You are on.
I was on. Now, when that happened to me, I felt safe. I was like, okay, if who has the credentials to my account, they can do this to me. Then what about someone who actually has my information?
Yes.
Yes. Another thing, I don't know if you've used the URA website. Have you used the URA website?
I have.
On the URA website, you can't copy and paste. You can't even screenshot. It becomes dark.
Yes. I
When you
noticed that.
screenshot the page, it blacks out. So again, how do you know that your data is what? Is safe?
Safe.
The first layer and the most easiest layer is going to a secure website, that is HTTPS. It uses port 443. But then the person who's providing that service, they add on layers of security and encryption of your data.
Yes.
Now, like URL, when you try to take a screenshot, it will say, no, you cannot take a screenshot. You get? When you try to copy and paste, no, you cannot copy and paste. You get?
There's one other thing that we actually use almost on a daily, and that is the OTP. On the human level.
Yes.
And I feel like that is also one of the most reliable ways of confirming. If, for example, someone steals my phone, that's why these days it's very important to keep your phone as the phone literally has
Keep it with you.
almost everything. Like if I would lose my phone, the immediate thing I would do is to log into another device and erase everything. I wouldn't care about the phone, however expensive.
That's your data.
Actually, I think the phone has become the ubiquitous tool for
Data.
being the key to your padlock.
Yes.
Because your service providers are going to give you the technologies, they're going to give you the authenticator app, they're going to give you 2FA.
These days you just look at your phone and it opens.
And it opens. Then you have the biometric from Apple and Samsung. But then the phone becomes now your key, and it becomes that tool now you're using to open multiple websites, to open multiple sites securely. There are also other tools, I think. There are other online tools. They are called online, is it digital wallets or BT password? No, password wallets. So you have a tool that you download it either on your phone or you have it online. You subscribe, you pay per month, $2, $3. You have a master password for it. That one you don't copy it anywhere, it's there. But then for it, whenever you are subscribing into a website, let's say I'm subscribing to Apple and I'm changing my password for Apple, I will use it as a tool to change my password for Apple. It will keep all my passwords. So it will have a reference. It's like an index of all my passwords
that you have ever used.
you get. Then it encloses them and protects them. Then I have one password. So I don't have to remember all the passwords for Google, for what. No. They are all centrally managed in one place. I think even Google does it for us, whereby you can use Google to log into other
through the
sites.
password managers and
through password managers. So I believe, yes. How would you know that someone is protecting your data and is providing you that level of security for you? Basically, it will show in the way you access your data at the end of the day. Yes. How you access your data. Someone putting in a password is safe, but signing in with Google or Hotmail, that auto thing of auto sign is safer.
yeah, that's
Then
right.
two-factor authentication is a level above that. You get,
Yeah.
whereby you receive either an OTP or an email OTP. Then the third level is the authenticator app. Microsoft has one. There are third-party authenticator apps that you can install on your phone that help you verify.
And there are also
Get.
physical keys as well.
Yes, then there are
They're
keys.
especially used by banks.
Yes, banks, yes. Encryption keys. Those ones, they used to use them long ago. Whereby in the bank, if you have like a business banking account and you want to use internet banking, they give you a key, you press it like this. It gives you a code, a key.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
A key, then you type it
Then you
in,
type it in.
then it handshakes with the system and says, oh, this is the actual owner of the account.
Yeah.
You get.
Okay.
Then now these days there are these keys where you put in the Type-C port or the USB port. It's like a dongle, so you put it in there and it's a key. So whenever you're kind of like registering a device, it has become now common with most banking application, with most with even Apple. I don't know if it's with Samsung, but with Apple you can do your physical key, encrypt. Banking you have a physical key, you have it. So without that key, you can't log into your accounts. And it's a digital version, but you carry it everywhere on your dongle. You get.
Yeah.
And those are all the levels of data encryption. Without that key to open your stuff, that's how you know. But of course, me, if I was a billionaire, I would have the key for my key for my key for my key. You get.
Yeah.
And that's the practice,
Yeah.
especially that we should look at.
Bob, there's something you talked about that I want us to reflect upon, and that is regulation. What we are protecting or what we are keeping safe is data. Now, if you are keeping or, for example, collecting someone's data, it's very, very, very important for you to register with the regulator.
Yes.
Yeah. You keep yourself safe with so many things. They keep you updated with information that you need to be able to handle this data, to know in what confinements am I really working with.
Yes.
Because whether we like it or not, the moment you wake up, you face legal challenges every now and then. You run the traffic lights, it's a legal thing. You steal someone's money, it's a legal thing. They knock you,
it's a legal thing.
So
yes.
It's important, very, very important for us to be compliant with the regulators.
With the regulators. Okay, that's great. So I think we have talked about it, but maybe you could throw more light on it. What's the core impact of, strong encryption on everyday digital services? What's the benefit of it? Why should we make sure we have it?
Well, if you want your privacy, you see, privacy has been a core tenet of human existence
Sure.
since Adam and Eve.
Memorial.
You get, even Adam and Eve, after a certain realization, they encrypted themselves. If you understand what I'm saying, you get. So privacy, human rights, you get.
Yeah.
If we don't have very good, strong encryption, people's human rights are easily infringed. Crimes are easily committed.
True.
And in a digital world and age, without data, secrecy or data privacy, or if I am not confident, there is chaos. Imagine the data that is moving in this world, that the petabytes of data and zettabytes of data that are moving every microsecond across the world were not encrypted. Wouldn't we be watching the American president dropping a bomb and we're watching him in his boardroom and we're like, he said that, you get. And that is the most important thing about data encryption. It ensures that the data I am handling, or the data that I have, or the data I am moving is only viewed by the person that is supposed to view. So it's national security reasons. The human rights is embedded in there. Trafficking. There's child safety. There's so much that encryption does for us. And also, one of the most important things is that encryption as a service enables us to be able to sell our services.
Yes.
You get, to ensure that whoever I am intending the service for only gets that service. Especially now that we are entering a digital age of selling online services. You get, I do for someone work and I send for them a report, and then the report lands in someone else's hand, or they steal the report, and maybe it was a report on a new invention or a patent. You get,
Yeah.
and the patent falls in someone else's hand and they register it before me.
Yeah.
Imagine. So encryption is very pivotal. It's actually, in our world today, in the digital age that we are in today, it is so ubiquitous that if we did not have it, we would not have the guardrails on which to exist in a digital domain.
I totally agree. Totally agree. And every time you keep something away, you protect something, or keep it away from everyone else, you make it scarce.
Yes. Yes.
Now, economics says that I've forgotten which principle it is, either the second or third. Scarcity creates demand. Yeah. The more a hacker sees you protect something, they're like, so what is he protecting? I think I need to go after it. Yeah. So it's also important to note that whenever you protect this information, you're actually giving it more value. Yeah. If, let's say, you are trading on the stock exchange, and I get to find out or have insider information about the next move to make, I will definitely get ahead of you. And in the stock exchange, actually having that kind of, if you get that information wrongly, you can actually be sued and even be delicensed.
Yes.
When it comes to that. So we might take it lightly that data is just something we give off every now and then. But if you compound that data and make sense of it, whoever is able to mine that data is able to make it useful So if you keep away, for example, your spending patterns, yeah. If there are some people who don't want to be known online, yeah, or they don't want to be tracked, or they unagula wano wali, you go into a physical shop, yeah. If you feel you don't want your data to be collected, yeah, but as long as you're online, you leave a footprint,
Yes.
yeah, and it's your right to keep that information safe. Use all the different layers. If there's no padlock,
Yes, don't touch.
if there's no OTP access for banking or even other services,
Yes,
if there's no two-factor authentication,
leave.
so in the end, actually the biggest responsibility comes to the user, yeah,
Ultimately, yeah, I believe so.
because we are the most, even when it comes to hacking, yeah, most people that hack, they have been there before, yeah,
Yes,
they have previous information of
probably even
logins
been
and everything.
they've even probably become victims of. That's how they became hackers.
Yes.
Yeah, so this human element, and you talked about digital literacy. It's important for us to keep,
Educating.
making ourselves aware of new techniques, of new ways of also to keep secure online.
Okay.
Something else you mentioned earlier on, regulators. Regulators have a lot of information on their websites, and I will point from the Uganda context. I don't know where you're watching from, but from the Uganda context, NITA Uganda has a lot of information.
Yeah.
A lot of information you can learn about. They actually, even for organizations, for example, if you work in an IT cybersecurity office, those guys disseminate international alerts on system vulnerabilities, on patches that have been released, and those are the systems that actually define how our data is encrypted. So if you're into cybersecurity, or if you are a startup and you're wondering, where do I start on this journey of cybersecurity? How do I encrypt my data? How do I ensure that my users are safe? NITA Uganda is one of the best places you can go and get that information. I believe also the Personal Data Protection Office is one of the places you can go. To get information and to learn. But the biggest resource is the NITA website to tell you about the projects. It will tell you you can subscribe to monthly newsletters that you can get. As a founder, you can go online and subscribe to what we call newsletters. And those newsletters will come without fail every month. Sometimes they'll even come weekly. So there's no excuse, even when you say that, the security of your data and you knowing what encryption to use. In the world we live in today, you cannot be consuming an online service and you tell me that you're ignorant about how to keep it safe.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
The resources are online. 10-15 minutes of reading, 2-minute reads every day for a year. 2-minute reads every day for a year. I don't know if you agree with me. Are enough to get you up to speed on the latest trends, on the best practices to keep yourself safe. If you don't trust internet banking, in a month you can be an expert in the best way to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You get?
Bob, there's something I've just thought about. When it comes to the basic user, let's say a boda rider, a market lady, how do we ensure that? Because now almost everyone has a mobile phone. Yeah, even in the villages, when you go, you find they have a feature phone and a mobile phone. How do we? And I keep asking myself that question: how do we make sure that we make this as bit-sizable as possible for them to, to put into place even the smallest measures? Yeah. Some people don't use passwords because they find it complex.
True. I don't know. You see, and you've asked the most important question of this conversation today.
I should have added to my script.
Yes, I know, right? You've asked the most important question. how does the boda learn or know how to protect themselves? How does Mama
Winnie.
who's selling tomatoes, you get, because that is the digital economy we are talking about, right? And how do they know they are safe, and how do they even know about this? How do they teach themselves? There are various programs, by the way. UCC has amazing programs that it runs, annual, that are around digital literacy. The East African community, together with GIZ, are running projects, have started digital transformation projects across East Africa to ramp up literacy. But all of those things, I believe they are doing, come to zero if the content they are consuming does not speak to them. So at the end of the day, the importance is the content that is being sent out there. Is it relevant? Because I can't be there and I'm looking for supper and you start telling me encryption.
Well, I'll tell you what led me to ask you that question. Yesterday, I was sending my boda guy, and most of us have our boda guy. Now, your boda guy has a call log of how many times you call him. He knows where you send him. Now, I called him, and his phone was calling, but he wasn't picking. So what I did, I walked to the stage and I phoned him there. So I asked him, so why were you not picking my phone calls? He told me my phone was charging. Then I asked myself, now what if where he's charging from, his phone does not have
A password.
a password? Imagine how much information they'll be getting from this person.
From the person. And thank you for bringing it into context. When I talked about content, there's a lot of training and awareness that is happening, but again, it also has to be relevant. You get, and remember when we were talking about earlier on encryption. You get, Now I'm going to be a little bit of Marie Antoinette. You get in this.
Who has to eat cake?
I hope I am not. Please do not judge me. Please do not judge me. But my boda man, on his capability to put a password, my question is,
What is he protecting?
what is he protecting? My
Maybe his mobile money.
My boda with a techno. Come on. We can have
Boda guys have advanced.
Yes.
I've seen boda guys with iPhones.
No, actually,
iPhones.
No. Let me be honest. The boda riders who have capabilities are the ones who have very poor financial management.
Yeah.
Because the average boda guy in Uganda, at least here in Kampala, earns more than a bank teller. Significantly more.
Yeah.
The challenge is financial
Discipline.
but also the trajectory of growth is different. The bank teller may have, in 10 years, you find them earning 3 times their salary. And the boda is still on the same income.
Sure.
So, it goes back to the question. Let's not derail ourselves. Encryption. So, what is he protecting? But the person of common, he's protecting himself. He probably has a passcode. But it takes me back to the conversation of content. What is he using the phone for? He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's on TikTok. So meet him where he is. Build content for him.
On those platforms.
We are paying organizations billions and billions to go down to people, but you could use TikTok to reach 1 million people whose money actually needs protecting, because the person down in the village who's using a capability is spending 10,000 per month, has a circle where he's putting his money. He's not going to internet banking.
Yep.
But they have a journey. So it's about segmenting the population's need. You get, segment the population's need and educate them accordingly, because you're not going to go teaching encryption to someone who's meeting every week, collecting their money in their circle, and then you get. But you may want to provide digital literacy, and that's where now empowering of the startups comes from.
Yeah.
From a public-private perspective,
Yeah.
whereby the startups that are trying to digitize local villages, village groups, now those are the people you empower to empower further down.
Yes.
It's
You
true.
get, and
That
it's
record
very,
is different.
it's very nuanced. But hey, the conversation is that I am not going to encrypt a border nakability, but I'll probably encrypt a border with a common.
Well, they
Yeah.
come
But the guy with the common is going to be on TikTok, sending
yes.
WhatsApps. So maybe the partnership would be with WhatsApp. WhatsApp is taking a lot of money out of
Yeah.
Uganda.
Yeah.
So we can hold them accountable and tell them, have a CSR in Uganda.
Yeah,
Post
yeah.
free content for us on
Yes.
on WhatsApp
WhatsApp.
rather. You
Yeah.
get,
Yeah, yeah.
on digital
With
literacy.
their updates, do you bring for
Yes,
us
do
some
they have
content?
that data? By the way, WhatsApp has so much data on us. Eh? So you tell them, since you have data on us and you're using it, afadhali use that data to teach people,
Yeah.
share content. And I want to challenge the government. Eh? You have those people. They are taking our taxes out. Bring them to the table and incorporate them in digital literacy, and it will go so far in reaching these people. Because on TikTok we are so many.
Yeah.
We are so many.
I
Speaking
totally
to
agree
Uganda.
with you.
Okay. So now, final one. Call to action. What is your final take? What should we put? I think you mentioned many things, but now as we wrap it up, tell us what is your final take on encryption? What should we do?
What do you think we should say?
Leave us with something. Your parting message.
If you value it that much, protect it, encrypt it. That's all I can say.
Okay. Bob?
Have as many emails as possible.
Hey. Tell us more on that one.
Have as many emails. You see, when you have very many emails, you're distributing your risk. So yeah, my parting shot is distribute your risk. Most risk cannot be totally taken away.
Yes.
So find ways. Risk can be dealt with in 3 ways. You either mitigate it, you either transfer it, or you accept it. You get
Mitigate, transfer,
Or
or accept.
accept it.
MTA.
So my parting shot on encryption and protecting your data is do the MTA: mitigate, transfer, accept.
Yeah.
Yes, but most especially accept that once it is on your phone and it's in the internet, it has gone. If you don't want it on the internet, do not put it there.
Internet.
Yes.
Even the viewers.
Nothing.
As you were explaining,
Nuance.
I was busy coming up with an acronym. Building a late on a mat. Yeah. M mitigate. A is accept.
Late on the mat. Yeah, that's nice.
Trust me, I am not going to forget that.
Yes, yes.
Accept, transfer.
Transfer.
I'm not going to forget
Yes.
that.
Omuntu wa wansi, if you cannot accept the consequence,
Teke kumkeka.
kiteke kumukeka.
Okay.
Transfer it, find someone to blame for it, or and get an insurance policy.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, Bob and Cliff, for joining us as we commemorate the Global Encryption Day. I think this conversation has been very insightful. I think my take for today, I'm going to open another email address because that's something that I can do right now. I so far have 2, so let me add on them. And as we part, don't forget to lay it on a mat, mitigate, accept, or transfer the risk. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the ICT podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share because innovation never sleeps, and neither do we. Thank you.